The midnight caller detective Sarah Holt had been in the game for nearly 2 decades, but the call she received that night would shake even her seasoned nerves. It was 2:13 a.m. when the phone rang. The voice on the other end was shaky, barely a whisper. "They're coming for me. I don't have much time," the voice said. "My name is Kevin Matthews. The line went dead. Holt sat up in bed, heart racing. The name was familiar. Kevin Matthews had gone missing a week ago, and the police assumed it was another runaway case. There were no signs of foul play, no ransom note, just a man vanishing into thin air. She quickly pulled on her jacket, grabbed her service weapon, and headed to the station. The streets were eerily quiet, bathed in the cold glow of streetlights. A thick fog clung to the air, adding a layer of unease as she thought about the strange call. At the station, she ran the caller ID and traced it back to an address on the outskirts of town, an old abandoned factory. As she approached the building, her gut twisted. The place was crumbling, windows shattered, a relic of a time long gone. She parked her car, its headlights cutting through the fog, and stepped out. The silence was oppressive. Only the crunch of gravel beneath her feet broke it as she approached the entrance. Inside, the factory was worse. Rusting machinery loomed like forgotten ghosts, and the stench of dampness and decay filled the air. She switched on her flashlight, sweeping the beam across the room. Nothing seemed out of place, yet her instincts told her she wasn't alone. Suddenly, she heard it. Faint, almost imperceptible footsteps echoing through the vast, empty space. "Matthews?" she called out, her voice steady but tense. No answer. She followed the sound down a narrow hallway, the walls peeling with age. The footsteps stopped abruptly, replaced by a low, rattling breath. She rounded the corner and froze. There, slumped against the wall, was Kevin Matthews. His face was pale, his clothes disheveled. He was breathing shallowly, his eyes wide with terror. "Detective Holt," he whispered, barely able to speak. They know I called you." Before she could ask who they were, a figure emerged from the shadows behind him. Tall, dressed in dark clothes, the stranger held a knife, glinting ominously in the beam of her flashlight. "Step away from him," Holt ordered, raising her gun. The figure didn't move. Instead, a chilling laugh echoed through the corridor, bouncing off the walls. Slowly, the person stepped closer, revealing a mask, a grotesque, smiling face, frozen in terror. "You shouldn't have come," the masked figure said, voice distorted and robotic. Holt's finger tightened on the trigger. "I said step back!" But before she could fire, the lights overhead flickered, and the figure lunged forward. In the chaos, Kevin scrambled to his feet and ran, his footsteps echoing through the factory as he disappeared into the dark. Holt fired a shot, but the masked figure dodged with unnatural speed, vanishing into the shadows. Panting, she raced after Matthews, her heart pounding in her ears. She could still hear him, running, but the factory was a maze. Every turn led to another dead end, and the fog outside had seeped in, blanketing the building in a thick, suffocating mist. Finally, she found him. Kevin was standing at the edge of a large pit in the center of the factory, staring down into the darkness. His eyes were wide, fixed on something below. "Kevin!" Holt called, her voice trembling. "Step away from the edge." But he didn't move. She approached cautiously, her gun still raised. The masked figure was nowhere to be seen, but the tension in the air was palpable. Something wasn't right. As she reached Kevin, she realized he was whispering to himself, over and over again. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Kevin, she said softly, it's okay, you're safe now. But when he turned to face her, his eyes were blank, lifeless. He smiled, a twisted, unnatural grin, and with a sudden jerk, he stepped back and fell into the pit. Holt rushed to the edge, her heart dropping. She aimed her flashlight down, but there was nothing. No sign of Kevin, no sound of impact, just darkness. And then, from somewhere deep below, the echo of that same chilling laugh.